right, my lovers, it's 1994 and it's a big year for the country. The National Lottery gave away millions, little save us millions, and politicians asking questions were paid millions. Or so, millions of people queued up to ride roller coasters.
Oh, and a lovely couple called Fred and Rose West invited me to see their patio. It's the big one, you guys, at least for now. It's 1994. But Chacho, I hear you cry. Why do you keep banging on about 1994? What makes it so special? Well, my non-UK friend who lives under a rock, 1994 was the UK's year of the coaster. We had Nemesis, Shockwave, the big one, and the Ladybird at Wicksteed, all open in that year. We haven't had a year like it since, so we are following the trend here in the Royal Mile. We need to say goodbye to this old friend, and hello to this lovely shiny new friend, which is basically Dragon Khan beaten to the punch. So say hello to the coaster that would be a product of Kumba and Dragon Khan having a baby, and one that I cannot wait for you Thoozes salivating at the keyboard to try and correct, which, by the way, we are going to immediately file under people incorrectly correcting other people, because there is so much research that's gone into this coaster. This is as close to a 1994 B&M as you are going to get in Planet Coaster, and this is how we live. This is how it sits on the sightline. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Right, so I've kept all of the original mess in so that you can see where it sits in the landscape. Of course, the next bit of the update is going to clear all of this up and you get a bit of a better view of the coaster. But let's do a tour anyway. Here's the station in amongst all of the existing Schwarzkopf supports. Come into the first turnaround here, and then it comes into the lift hill, which is, I think, set to 30 degrees, because that's the coasters that would be around. And then it comes into the first drop and into the, of course, ever familiar, the vertical loop. And then we come into the dive loop. We don't have in women's yet. They're not a thing. Of course, B&M haven't worked out that you can just reverse it and do it the other way around. So anyway, we've got a dive loop profiled exactly to Kumba's. So it's exactly spot on. And then we come into a 0G roll, also profiled on Kumba's, so it is identical to that one, and it comes around this little corner and then into the area that is the official queue line for the old Dragon coaster. So there it is. It comes into a Cobra roll, and then it comes into a Sidewinder. Now, this is profiled on Dragon Khan's. So I think it's Dragon Khan's. It comes around this way, and then it dips down. There is a bit of terrain and stuff that I need to do here, because I need to work with pathing and stuff, so you're not seeing this at the moment, but it comes essentially underneath itself and then up this way into a brake run, which is this one here, and then it comes down into another drop, and then it does the whole very cliche double corkscrew thing. Now, there isn't a set way that these have to be. It doesn't have to turn left at the top, it doesn't have to turn right at the top, it doesn't have to be a continuous roll. This is fine as a setup. So you come into the double corkscrews around this way into another corkscrew, and then I had many different variations of the layout here, but what I have actually done is ended up with a side helix just to kill some of the speed, and then it comes into the final brake run, which you just can make out down here, and then this is where all the maintenance and stuff is going to be, and then it comes back round into the station. So like I say, this is a bit of a mess at the moment. I know that some of you guys like when I do this because you can picture what was where, and I know that some of you hate it because you can't see what's there, right? So let's clear all of that up and let's just get on with this, and I'll see you in a minute. There you go then, guys. This is the bit of the episode that you absolutely love. It's the middle bit. It's where we have done lots of stuff that I can show you, but there's still lots of stuff to do. And of course, I've tidied up the area so you can now see things much better and much clearer than you did at the beginning. I promised I was going to, so there you go. Promise fulfilled. So let's talk through this bit, shall we? Because like I say, there is loads that I can show you. And we are in this fairy tale area of the park, so we're a little bit stuck with the theme. Like, we have to stay true to the original theme. And of course, I want to have throwbacks to all of the dragon stuff that's in here, right? So the coaster that was here before was called Dragon. It was themed around dragons, so I'm going to keep them here, right? It's going to be all good. And what theme fits with the whole fairy tale castle thing and dragons and blah 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 blah? Yeah, of course, Camelot, Knights of the Round Table, Sword in the Stone, and Arthur, and all of that. So that's what we're going for. So let's start here in the station, because at the moment this is looking a little bit Chinese, Japanese, or almost like Oriental, right? But I promise I'll pull it off by the end of it. What we're going for here is that idea of medieval style buildings. So we've got lots of stucco, lots of woodwork, and that sort of vibe. So I wanted this to feel like it was a bit of a shed. I wanted to make an effort with the station, but not too much effort, if you get my drift. It needs to fit in with the simplicity of the rest of the area around here, right? And it needs to fit in with the area. And at the moment, it does kind of stick out like a sore thumb. Well, I'm all right with that so far. The queue line then, of course, is just this massive queue line. So I've just put all of the fencing stuff down and then started to do all of the dirt work and whatever that I need to put in here. So yeah, that's looking decent. Oh, by the way, the station's got nothing done to it on the inside yet. There is lots of detailing and whatever that I need to do in here. And over this area, this is the maintenance shed. So yeah, I pulled this together. I don't think this bit was in the first bit, right? So what I've done is, just like we did for the suspended coaster, the maintenance shed is not going to sit next to the main brake run, because there just isn't the room. So I've actually made it curve around this way, and the reason for that is because I wanted to have the vehicular access here. So rather than having a road running through the ride area, you just have the building backing onto the part of the park that you want to do, right? So this actually fits in quite nicely. You don't often see this on B&Ms. You often see the shed and whatever on the side. And I could have quite happily put the maintenance shed in this bit, right? I could have done that, but I've just chosen not to. I kind of wanted to take a few design liberties with this, and I think it does work. And again, this needs lots of detailing. This build is going to be devil in the detail. It really is. There's lots of stuff that still needs doing, but this is just an idea of where we're sitting. And then this bit, I started off hating it, you know. Like, this was one of those things where I just played through it, and it was what it was, and we are where we are. But actually, I reloaded the park today and thought, no, do you know what? This works. Originally, I had wanted this to be a bridge, and for the track to go directly underneath it, and for it to be a bit of a focal point. But actually, what turned out, and what transposed, was this track goes down far deeper than I thought it did when I designed the coaster originally. So I ended up just actually making it a bit of a raised bit, and this looks alright, you know. Like, it feels like the hill dips down and then dips back up again, and rather than allowing the pathway to follow the terrain, they've actually just flattened it off and created a bit of a sight line here, and it actually means you remain level with the side of the track here, and you get a bit of a dive into the underground. In 2024, there's probably effects and stuff going on in here. Actually, it's probably not, is it? Let's be honest. It'll just be the air tunnel all over again. It'll just be unloved and unthemed forever. But either way, it's a tunnel. It's fine. And then all I've done is I've put in all the dirt decals and stuff around here just to level off the land, because there's lots of misdemeanors that this is hiding. Like, to make this actually work, it's not a pleasant thing at all. I'm not even gonna lie. And also, what I've done is started to do the perimeter exterior fencing, and I wanted this to be different. I didn't want this to be your usual don't die bland fencing. I mean, I have done it on the areas of the build where it doesn't matter. So like all along here is just the bland generic don't die fencing. But when you're actually guest facing, I thought it was quite important that this had this along here, right? So I've given it a bit of a design. I've used this design before, or very similar to this design before, in World of You Moves most recently. So I just sort of copied that idea, but refined it a little bit, because the World of You Moves one is a bit unkempt. So this is a bit more sophisticated and a bit more designed to it. And then of course what I've started to do here is put the curbing and whatever in so I can put all of the concrete stuff down and make it all level and make it all look pretty. And then I've actually used the pebbles along this side because I didn't want the bridge to actually be flush to the pathway. But again, I had some misdemeanors that I needed to hide that I didn't want to hide with dirt because I'm overusing the dirt decal a little bit. So I've actually put some pebbles down. Whether I'm going to put flowers and stuff in, I don't know yet, or whether it's going to stay as pebble, I don't know. Let's just play it out. But I do like how this is turning out, and it's there it goes. And then I like how this then just goes along and plays with the terrain, and it comes up the hill here. I haven't put the bridge and stuff in yet. I don't know what this is going to look like, but what I have started to do is the retaining wall, which is rock work here. And then rock work here, and then anywhere else I'm using the usual haunted house base as the retaining wall. So I use this a lot, right, because it's just stonework. It's not finished. This is just placeholder stuff for a minute. Of course, I just need to like tidy up bits of terrain that are sticking out, and this, of course, isn't actually down to the ground yet. You know, all the usual caveats apply here. Dragon, I think, is in the wrong place. He's going to need to move, or at least be rotated, and this just needs tidying up. There's lots of relics from the previous days of where the queue line and stuff was sitting, right? So this needs a lot of like reconfiguration and work and stuff. And this is, I love this bit, right? I love this bit about redesigning areas. It's when you get all of the relics from previous days and you're like, oh yeah, there used to be a queue here, and there's a bin that's sitting there, and remember the days when this was all here. And then like you look at this wall along here and you're like, oh yeah, that was the retaining wall for the queue line, and it's now gone and it's now all completely different but actually stays the same. I love doing that, like going to Alton Towers and Thorpe Park and looking at the bits of the park that existed before. You know, like there's a sorry, I know I'm waffling and I don't care. I'm telling you a story. There's a bit by Tidal Wave where if you look through at Thorpe Park, if you look through the fence down by the fish and chip unit, opposite, I think it's Peckish or whatever it's called, you can actually see the relics of the old days of where Flying Fish used to be, and that still exists. And it's like, oh, look at what that was. Anyway, sorry, that was a massive digression. The last thing then to show you in this update are the supports. So I have gone through and I've done to the best of my ability old school B&M supports. Of course, I keep the in-game ones where they are sufficient. So like this loop here, the in-game ones are okay. I think they're probably a bit extreme, right? They look a bit jank, but they're all right. They'll stay. They're fine. But what I have done is custom supported about a third of the coaster, as it turns out, and you can see like they're sticking out in the back here, right? So I've custom supported the Immelman, I've custom supported the Zero G roll, I've custom supported the Cobra roll, and this it's not an Immelman, sorry, it's a dive loop, and custom supported this dive loop, and then the rest is pretty much in game and just touched up where it's needed. And then you've got custom supports on the corkscrews as well, so that's all looking good. And then guess what this is gonna be? It's our first photo unit. Yes. It's 1994, guys. It's a thing. And luckily for us, there's a website, Alton Towers Almanac was a website that I used to use quite a lot in the 90s and early noughties, and it stopped being updated. And if you go back, again, it's the whole relics of an old day. If you go back, there are photos from Oblivion's opening day and, of course, Excite, where the photo unit stands. So it's like a time capsule of what a photo unit used to look like in the 90s, and that's what I'm going for here. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the ability to do big, bulky monitors. Flat screens do exist in 1994. But they are A, expensive, and B, still quite chunky. So we don't have chunky monitors in game, but I'm going for the best that I can with this one. So this is going to be a photo unit, our first ever ride photo booth. I can't wait. So guys, this is how it is looking from the top, coming together quite nicely, I think. So I'd better just crack on, right? See you in a minute. Oh yeah, you guys, it is a big old reveal, a big old area, and a big old done for now stamp, because we are done. 1994 would be proud, and I really like how this is sitting now. Like, it just sits so nicely in the terrain now that all of the foliage and stuff has come into it, and this is what you're going to see from the sightline. Look at this, B&M in all of its glory. Yes, guys, I am proper chuffed with this. Now I am heading out for work again, so it is a done for now stamp. I'm not entirely done. You'll see there's some stuff at the top here that hasn't been finished, partly because there's future developments that are going to change this landscape anyway, and partly because I just don't have time to do it. But what I have had time to do is name this bad boy. Yeah, Draco. We needed to keep the dragon theme. We needed to keep it going with the whole King Arthur and whatever. So Draco is the new name for it, and I love it. Yes. Even the queue line now fits the area. Like, when I was putting it in, I thought, oh, is this just too intrusive? Is the queue line just like there? But no, it fits, and it's exactly as you would have found it in 1994. So what I'm going for here is sophisticated for 1994, trash upon reflection. That's what I'm going for, and I think I've managed to, like, just toy the line somewhere. Like, I'm towing the line, and there you go. So station wise, this is the station. Quite like how this turned out. It's an interesting little building. I didn't want something entirely square. I wanted to do something that was slightly out of the ordinary in terms of shaping, and yeah, I've done that. Now this area here is absolutely going to be a nightmare in the rain, and Britain has a lot of rain, so you're going to be stood here, you're going to get wet, not even sorry. But the whole shape of the building is consistent with the whole medieval theme, the Arthur style Camelot theming. So yeah, I like it. And then the fact that this is a lean-to is also pretty decent as well. It's going to be cool in the summer, dry in the winter. We're good to go. Yeah, lots of detailing going on in the station then. So I've put down like all of the usual runners and whatever. We're now in the realms, by the way, of modern style builds. There's a lot of stuff that I can now do, like the emergency exit signs and the baggage hold and all of the electricity points underneath the coasters. We're in the modern realms of stuff. And I am so here for it. Just thrown around some real loose theming in here. I didn't want anything major. Remember, this is supposed to be classy and sophisticated for 94, but trash upon reflection. So, of course, it'd probably have modern updates, modernization updates and stuff going on in here. But this is how the station looks. And, of course, you've got your row numbers, as you would expect to find in this area. So, yes, this is all looking good. The back end here, outside of the exit ramp, I did have visions of overgrowing this, but of course it's a new coaster, right? I've probably overdone the foliage as it is anyway. So we are coming down the exit ramp this way, and then we come round through here. So the dragon has obviously now been moved and is now hugging the tree. And I just put some clutter in here. So on the lift hill, I've put the chain return. This is hanging really low for a chain return. But when you look at Dragon Khan, it's exactly the same, right? So I kind of figured that it works, so I'm going to keep going with it. Then I just put all of the lift hill stuff at the bottom, the motors, and then just cluttered it out with all the kit and stuff that you would normally find. And then we come around this way, and we head into the photos. Yes, we are now here. We have photos. I haven't put photos on the screen yet, by the way, guys, because that weird crash that I had in Grosvenor Gardens is back. I can't put stuff on screens, and I don't know why, so I must be overloading the graphics somewhere. So I've just kept it as it is. We'll have to deal without photos, but really simple. I didn't put monitors and stuff on the front here. They wouldn't have quite done that yet. Of course, they would need like big chunky monitors and stuff, so you tended not to find that. But later on, as we start to introduce flat screens into the park, then you'd probably retrofit this and have the monitors and stuff in front here. But this is it. This is all it needs to be for a photo booth. Remember, it's one of the first times that we've done this in the series, right? Because of the timelines. So photos are just becoming a thing. So the actual plaza area down here hasn't changed much, but of course the sightlines and stuff have. changed because we've now got a bloody great big B&M that's sitting here. What I have done up this way is I've just altered the pathway. This is different to how I thought it was going to be, in all honesty. When I designed this originally, I thought the pathway was going to come around the back of the queue line for Dragon and then meet up here, and it's actually ended up going further back this way. I'm alright with that. It absolutely works, and the pathway comes back around this way and it connects the area together. It's not hideous, it's just not what I planned. And then you've got the bridge, so I put the bridge in. This was the last thing I did. I was completely uninspired. I didn't know what I wanted to do with this bridge at all, but actually it came together. It is what it is. It does what it needs to do. Happy days. Good job. Good viewpoint as well, so you get a pretty decent view of the corkscrew from there, as you have seen. Lots of foliage and stuff kicking on along this side, and then down here the pathway has now sort of come together and it's come to life. I didn't want to continue the pebbles and stuff all the way along. It felt like that was just a little bit overkill, so I've kept it as a bit of a grass verge and stuff. That's kind of like what you would find in this area. Do you remember back to World of You Muse when I put the was it a flawless or was it a sit down? No, it was actually a sit down as well, wasn't it? And I said that there would be this like rough around the edges bit. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for here. And you will notice that I've not put the fencing around here. This is the bit that I've run out of time to do. But like I say, there's a development coming that means I need to actually change this fencing anyway. So I'm going to wait until that's done. Just forgive me for that. Likewise with this bit, I haven't done anything with the foliage and trying to hide this or decorate it out. Same reason. There's some stuff that's coming in this area that actually is going to change the context of all of this anyway, so it's just there for now. And actually, when you look back at theme parks, there are areas of a park that really are jank. Like, they really do struggle with imagery and being tidy and stuff. So actually, this is still pretty realistic. And we've got the maintenance area here. Love how this sits. This is just so, like, weirdly sitting here. The clearance, of course, as you saw in the time lapse, there is clearance for vans and stuff, so this isn't out of the realms of the possibility. And it's just sort of sitting on the top there. And then of course when you come into here, ta-da, it's all kitted out with all the usual stuff that you would find. And I've managed to make sure that the gantry, the runway here, is actually low enough for the trains to come in, and you can fit all 3 trains on this bit here. And then, of course, you can start to unload them and load them back in through this entry point here. So, guys, I love it. This bit along here then has just been kitted out, and it's had all of its pathing and stuff put down. Again, there's stuff that I need to do in here. This is going to be essentially it's going to be an entranceway into a new coaster. So I won't spoil it, but it's going to be good. It's going to be a new entrance pathway. So, yes. I don't think there's anything else to talk about, in all fairness, you guys, other than this is how it looks from everywhere in the park. Yes. It's cool. It's cool. And like those old B&M supports, you know, the old school B&M supports really do make it pop. It's exactly as I wanted it to be. So, with one final look from the top down, I think we should probably just go for a ride in a mo. Thank you so much for getting to the end of the episode. You know, I really do appreciate it. Absolutely loving this series, and this is it now. This is the start of the complete modernisation of the park. There's a massive long kill list. There's lots of stuff to come. This is the exciting bit. This is the bit that we've been working towards in the series, so thank you. Right, have a good week. I will speak to you soon. Let's go for a ride. Take care of yourselves. Bye!